What is going on, everybody? My name is Ciara Lawler. Welcome to another week of Movie Mondays. This is the Heroes for Hire podcast. We are back again talking all the week's movie news, entertainment news, and just generally having a bit of a chit-chat about everything to do with film. As always, I am joined by my partner in crime, Mr. Shaun Meehan. Shaun, how is it going?
Absolutely delighted to be here, Connor. Can't wait to talk about movie news. Something I did just want to say at the start as well. Someone asked me in real life if we were going to be talking about Loki on the show. Yes. But for people that don't know, we do a Loki discussion. We do it every 2 weeks. We do 2 episodes at once. We have a lot to talk about. That's all on the Patreon. We did the first episode here so people could get a taste, and other episodes and most of the other stuff will be over on the Patreon. So head over there if you want to listen to us talk about the strange goings on in Loki. Mephisto confirmed.
Question mark. Just imagine there's red circles and arrows and everything we're saying.
Yeah. If I could put a red circle in an audio format, by God, I would.
Oh, we fucking would. So, Shaun, that's all over the... Also, I'm not skipping over the fact that you somehow have another friend. I mean, it's a bit sus.
Connor, I said I could have been an enemy. Do you know what if I said this?
I'm talking to an enemy.
And they mockingly said, "Oh, you're going to talk about it on the podcast?" And I said, "Yes, but kinda. It's on Patreon."
So this is Movie Monday, Shaun, and what we're doing this week is, I will say, we had some big trailers last week. Now
we did.
There are no big trailers this week to get into, but what I do have to offer you, and this we should say we are recording on a Sunday, so if a big trailer drops tomorrow when this comes out, I will be disheartened and maybe sad.
It's going to be Flash and Spider-Man drops tomorrow.
Absolutely. But what we have this week, we've got rumours. We've got tears.
Fleetwood Mac.
We've got Fleetwood Mac. Stevie Nicks has joined us in half an hour. She's going to talk us through everything.
Hell yeah. We got Stevie.
We got Stevie in to talk Abomination. So we're starting this week, Shaun, with a follow-up from last week, and that was about a certain Shang-Chi trailer. And at the end of that trailer, there was a bit of a reveal, we thought, but we weren't sure, because there was a big monster and there was somebody else in the screen, and we were like, that kind of looks like that Hulk character, Abomination, were we not?
From everyone's favourite film, The Incredible Hulk.
Yeah. The best Incredible Hulk film?
Oh, definitely.
Ang Lee, eat your heart out. But what we have this week is confirmation from who would be the one man that you would want to confirm that is Abomination versus Wong to fully just quell any rumours.
I mean, ideally, Zack Snyder. But I'll settle for Kevin Feige.
Kevin Feige has confirmed that Abomination versus Wong will be in Shang-Chi. He said, some fans said, this looks like a character they hadn't seen in many years. It's named Abomination, fighting a character that looks like Wong. And I can say that the reason it looks like that is because that is Abomination fighting Wong.
Really dancing around saying, yeah, you're right. He's really dancing around making that statement. So, presumably they're in some kind of Mortal Kombat style face-off then.
I mean, I think we all kind of jumped to that immediately because, of course, wow, that's a cool idea. But then it's kind of, is it there? Is it not? Is it just a nameless monster? But it has been confirmed that this is Wong who will be in this. Shaun, does Wong's inclusion mean something either... I mentioned last week it could take place during the 5 years of the blip, or afterwards, maybe Doctor Strange appears in this movie as well. I'm just throwing random shit out here.
Yeah, now look, and to be fair, a bunch of shit's going to go down with Doctor Strange. We don't know where that takes place, timeline-wise, in terms of multiverse, whether he's busy at the time of this big showdown. So it seems to be like they're fighting to get control of the Ten Rings. That's the Mandarin's whole game. But what interests me is that, like, Abomination, canonically in the MCU, it was revealed in the comic, he is in the raft. Like, that big, like, island prison that they have in the ocean. I think we see it in Civil War. like, Abomination is in there. So he either escaped and went on to compete for control of the Ten Rings, or someone sent him there. And what is interesting is, my knowledge of the Incredible Hulk is coming out. So, who's in charge of the raft is General Ross.
Oh, he doesn't like the Hulk. I have confirmation.
He doesn't like the Hulk. He's also the reason that Blonsky became Abomination.
Yes,
so
true.
Unless this is some like weird power struggle to like, oh, if you do this, you could be a respectable. I don't even think Abomination wants respect anymore. I think he wants to be the strongest and the best fighter. So,
right, but is the winner of that battle? The winner of the battle gets the 10 rings. Is that what we're meant to believe?
I think not like that singular battle.
No. I just mean the fight, the competition.
Yeah, I think so. But I think I think that's how it's pitched. I think the Mandarin's ultimate deal is that he wants to bring out some fucking secret power that's within Shang-Chi that he's prophesized to have or something like that. And to do that, he has to fight the best fighter, essentially. So I think Mandarin sets up this whole tournament to basically make his son stronger and succeed him.
And the idea is that Wog is fighting to get the rings back, so that to the good guys, and Abomination,
to get control of him.
Abomination is either fighting just because he escaped and he wants that power, or a much more interesting idea would be that he was sent from the raft by Mr. Ross to basically win the rings and bring them back to me. You give me the rings and then I'll set you free.
Yeah, like some kind of deal there. Maybe somehow leads into General Ross becoming Red Hulk. That's a dream of mine. But I think...
Bring back Ang Lee!
The reason I think the US government might have sent Abomination is to get the 10 rings specifically, is that with Scarlet Witch and everything going down, they have to now acknowledge properly that magic is real. And like they need some way to they need some magic on their side pretty much. Because they have Doctor Strange, who's a free agent really, and Scarlet Witch, who borderline is a villain at this point.
Tough to control Scarlet Witch. She can create her own universe and just live there.
All about, literally a being of pure chaos.
Yeah.
So I think that this might be them trying to grab onto some weapon that they can use basically in case Scarlet Witch goes rogue again.
But it is good to have this confirmation so that it no longer people are just guessing and assuming. Kevin Feige has come out and said this, which to me also indicates the fact that this is probably not that big a thing, that they just threw it in there to be like, this is cool, isn't it? Look at this.
Yeah, just be like, oh look, it's still connected in all this universe. Also serves to get Abomination and Hulk and all that stuff into people's minds again for the She-Hulk series that comes out.
Yeah, now, is Abomination meant to be in She-Hulk?
Yeah, and I think it is Tim Roth confirmed to be coming back.
Don't lie to me.
Oh, very good. Very good, Connor. So I think it just serves to instead of it being, the last time we saw this character was 2009, now it's last time we saw this character was in Shang-Chi, and here's the updated design and everyone's on board with it. And now we have the 3D model ready to go for the She-Hulk TV series.
Yeah, they have to update that 3D model. They have to get it going. But yeah, I just think it is interesting that they've already confirmed this. That to me just tells me that it's probably not that big a thing. And I think you're right, that it's just a reintroduction of Abomination if he's going to be appearing in the She-Hulk series, which makes perfect sense. Because, I mean, Abomination has already fought one Hulk. Why not fight the other Hulk? And then we can have a cool storyline. Even just for an episode, a Villain of the Week episode, or make him the overarching villain. We don't really know at this point. But bring him in some
details
form.
About that show, really, at the minute. But just to have him back, it fleshes out that universe. He is a major villain in the comics, so it's cool to see him popping up again.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, so we're going to have to move on to our next piece of news, and this is about a certain series called Star Wars, Shaun. They have a movie coming out called Rogue Squadron. Have you heard of it?
Yes, this is the Patty Jenkins fighter pilot star fight. What are they called? X-wing pilots, but in like I don't know. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Luke Skywalker. It's Luke Skywalker.
Picard. Jean-Luc.
Rogue Squadron movie recruits Love and Monsters writer for the next Star Wars adventure. It officially has its writer locked in. So it's got Patty Jenkins, who's of course the Wonder Woman director. She is going to be directing it. Now you also have Matthew Robinson, who is down to write the script. Now Matthew Robinson, he has written some pretty decent films in terms of The Invention of Lying he was involved in. Obviously he was involved with Love and Monsters earlier this year, the Netflix series. He's also down to write Edge of Tomorrow 2, which is pretty good. But
Live, Die, Repeat and Repeat.
Live, Die, Repeat and Repeat and Repeat, yes. But,
yeah, very good, love it.
but the plot details for this movie are currently... they're a bit bare, I will say. That nobody really knows what the idea is. They just now know that Patty Jenkins was down to direct, but at that point it was just like, this is a project we might be doing. We don't know when.
Yeah.
And now with this Matthew Robinson coming in as the writer, I think this kind of confirms to me that they're going with this. Not just going with it, but like we'll probably see this in the next 3 to 4 years. This will be coming out.
I think so, yeah. Like it's a natural progression for what they want Star Wars to be, which is all types of genres, like action, adventure, comedy, and now fucking war movies. Like I think it just makes sense. It fleshes out that universe that little bit more, and like you said, it is now. It's more secure. It's not just a project that's in development hell and they're toying around with ideas. No, someone is putting pen to paper, as it were. Looking at this guy's IMDb as well, he's really like seems to be like up and coming. Like he did Invention Line in 2009. After that, he did like a few smaller things. He did the screenplay for Dora and the Lost City of Gold.
Good one.
Yeah, absolutely. And now and then he's just done Love and Monsters. His next 3 things lined up are Live, Die, Repeat and Repeat. So Edge of Tomorrow 2. Little Shop of Horrors and Star Wars Rogue Squadron. That's
a very, like, a wide array of things to be involved in.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, how they described Rogue Squadron is that it is based off some video games and novels from Star Wars Legends, but of course that has now all been kind of abandoned by Lucasfilm because Disney bought it in 2012 and they've just gotten rid of all that stuff. So
yeah, and they said this really cop-out line as well when they bought it. They said, it's called Legends, but every legend has a kernel of truth. Which basically meant we're going to pull whatever we want and not pay anyone any royalties.
Exactly. And so they say that it will introduce a new generation of starfighter pilots as they earn their wings and risk their lives in a boundary-pushing, high-speed thrill ride and move the saga into the future era of the galaxy. That's a lot of words to say. You might need Tom Cruise in here for some sort of flight-based film.
Oh, he would love it, but he would make you go to space. That's the only issue.
Where's Goose?
When they say pushing him into the future of the galaxy, are they talking about going beyond Rise of Skywalker?
Well, we don't really... This is the first live-action film set after Rise of Skywalker, as far as I know.
Oh my god. So we can see what happens to... What if they just do the same thing and like Rey is this like disaffected hermit living on fucking Skellig Michael?
And they get her back to fly some ships.
Yeah, just to like deliver cargo. Like it's not even any battles or anything.
No,
because presumably
there are some hijinks.
All the problems.
You run into some things where people are a bit mean to her, and you're just like, "Oh man, tough day at the office." But there's no drama. There's no Palpatine. There's no anything.
No, like, please, there can't be any more Palpatine.
I want to see
this time.
Rey in one ship, Palpatine in another. They're just flying around each other. Palpatine with his little headset. He's like talking away.
We saw him turn to dust. Unless he fucking force ghosts himself. And like... because she's a Palpatine, so he could like present in her memories or some shit like that.
Oh, I don't want to get it. We don't have any confirmation that Rey or Palpatine are involved in this in any way. So we don't want to go.
The title of this episode is going to say, Connor. Just putting that out there.
Rey and Rogue Squadron. But I think, do you think it's a good idea that they just go, I know what your answer is, but that they just go away from stuff we've already seen and maybe make a cool Star Wars film?
Yeah. I've said this before on the show. All my favourite shit about Star Wars happens outside of the movies.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And you can do anything once you do this. Like, you're not set in anything or involved with anything. You could just, maybe come up with brand new characters. Nobody's related to anyone. I
still feel like they're going to try and, like, cash in on nostalgia. Like, there's going to be a Millennium Falcon in this show, whether it's the original or whether it's a remake that some enthusiast has made, or they're going to have to cash in on that kind of thing because you need the Lego sets.
That's where the money is, Shaun.
There's no money in filmmaking.
What I want is a Lego set where Palpatine is flying a big X-wing. I think it could make millions.
I think. What if okay, hear me out here. Another Death Star, right? Just rehash it again. I like to imagine that's Palpatine in the press conference, or like in the room with the guys, the like, boardroom. Lads, hear me out. I know you're all going to think I'm fucking mad. What is there anything to say for another Death Star fan? Fucking look, I know there's a 2-metre exhaust port, but have you seen the size of the thing? That's quite impressive that it's only that one port.
Shaun, are you excited about Rogue Squadron coming out?
I guess so. I'm not unexcited, if that's a decent enough answer.
I suppose. Is it just, are you still in a bit of a malaise after Rise of Skywalker that you're kind of hoping?
I think so. See, like, on one hand, I really like The Mandalorian, and that has a bunch of spaceship flying stuff. So maybe more of that would be nice.
Yeah,
that's all I gotta say.
Are you gonna like the Boba Fett series? Or
well, for a series I've seen nothing about, I'm gonna come down hard and say yes. I'm gonna love it. It's gonna be my favourite series ever.
I think there should be a new thing that I just throw projects at you, and without any information, you have to tell me whether you're gonna like them or not, because this is the internet. That's it,
and I will definitely stick to that in shows.
And you can't change, no matter how good or bad it becomes.
When was the last time I got burned with that? Oh yeah, I still think the Portal movie is going to be good, don't I?
Yeah, you said the Portal movie, and you also said Dungeons and Dragons was going to be good, but that was only because the cast got good, because it got Chris Pine and Hugh Grant. Yeah,
so look, I'll stick by those two. Okay. I'll also stick by Rogue Squadron and say it'll be at least good.
Okay. So we're moving on to our next piece of news, Shaun, and this is probably the news this week that, it's not confirmed, but it's something that does excite me, because it's a lot of comic book stuff this week, and so the news came out that nothing to do with comic books, and talking about good casts, Steven Soderbergh wants to do another Ocean's 11 sequel with the original cast, Shaun. They want them back for an Ocean's 14.
Oh my god, that's actually... I think we're primed and ready for one, do you know?
You know what? I love Ocean's 11. It's great.
Ocean's 11 is real good. It's better than it has any right to be.
Yes.
I'm worried it might become an Expendable style situation.
That is an issue. Yeah, it's 20 years old at this. I think it was 2001 when Ocean's 11 came out. Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, and then it was Ocean's 12 in 04 or 05, and then back Ocean's 13. Back in 04, and then Ocean's 13 was like 2008.
And there wasn't Ocean's 8, wasn't there?
And Ocean's 8 was, came out like 2017.
Yeah, so now they're doing Ocean's 14?
I would suppose it'd have to be Ocean's 14. Do you
what
probably
if it's
include...
mental and it's like Ocean's 400 and it's just like... It's everyone.
It's Ocean's 300 and Zack Snyder comes in.
Oh, it's
about the Spartans trying to rob a bank.
Oh my god. Just a big pile of gold up there.
Like, trying to break into the bank vault using shields, just as a unit.
It'd be nice to have a heist movie just every so often.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with a heist movie. I think heist movies are great.
No, a heist movie and a murder mystery. Just give us one of those every couple of years to keep things fresh.
The problem is that if one of them makes money, then we'll have to watch 3 of them a year for like 5 years straight until they stop making money, and that will annoy me. But I like a good heist movie that's smart and good. Also, the cast of that movie is absolutely insane, and you could do a situation where you include the Ocean's 8 people and the Ocean's 11 people, join them all into one film, make a whole bunch of money.
That's true. What? Okay. Ocean's, hear me out. Ocean's 8 cast and the Ocean's 13 cast, right? Mm-hmm. Call it Ocean's 21. It's set in a casino trying to rob a blackjack table.
Just one table?
Just one. Like, they're getting a really small purse for the whole thing, but goddamn, they're trying.
It's like $2,000 and they're trying to spread it between 21 of them. Okay, right, so what do you get then? Just less than... Okay, fuck, jeez. This isn't great, lads.
Jesus.
It's not a great cut.
Out. We invited too many people.
And it's just like one teller, just like dealing the cards, and George Clooney's like, look at him, the dickhead. We can't get him. He's too fucking smart. Fuck off. He's too good. Yeah, I mean, like, you get Clooney, you get Brad Pitt, you get Matt Damon. You also had Casey Affleck in that, who I think is probably bigger now than he was then. But
yeah, like to be fair, it was a ridiculous cast at the time, and everyone's still as successful now, if not more.
Like, even Clooney, Pitt, Damon back then was massive, but Damon was very not as big as the other two. And so now Matt Damon is Matt Damon. Along with those two, I think that's even bigger. And then you've got Ocean's 8. I mean, like, you've got Sandra Bullock, Cate Blanchett, Anne Hathaway, Sarah Paulson, Rihanna is in that film. So I mean, like, you could throw all these people in and make a whole bunch of money. But it does mean that you have a lot of characters to try to balance and make sure they all have something to do in a heist.
Yes. See, do you bring the classic cast back? Do you make it like, who's the new George Clooney? You know? You just get all the Avengers cast.
And I think what you do is you get a new cast. Well, not a new, but like 4 or 5 people that are like, we want to rob a bank, and then there's only one team that have ever been able to pull that off. We need to call in the big guns, and then they go to Danny Ocean and try and get him back. Because what confused me about Ocean's 12, which was kind of where that fell down, and Ocean's 13 was a bit of a pickup, but it's a case of, if you were already like a 100 billionaire, what is the point?
Why do you keep robbing places?
Yeah, and Steven Soderbergh is obviously great as well, so I mean, you could make a lot of money if you bring these people back.
I think so, like, and the thing about it is, like, the original Ocean's 11 was the Rat Pack. Like, that was, they were the lead actors. So that, I guess, like, Clooney, Damon, Brad Pitt and Joey Garcia, like, they were the Rat Pack of the early 2000s.
And Don Cheadle with an English accent.
Forgot Donny Chi. Forgot about him.
Donny Cheadle's in that as well, yeah.
That's ridiculous. So, I like a heist. Give me a heist. Rick and Morty did a thing about heists, and maybe that's why it's back in the public eye.
Yeah, I think... you could just remake like a zombie movie, but they have to rob like a Las Vegas casino, but it's during a zombie apocalypse.
Right, okay. And would it be possible that it's a mess of colour and Dave Bautista's in it?
I'm thinking Dave replaces George Clooney, but everyone stays the same other than that.
Do you know that Army of the Dead, it apparently had a load of like rendering issues when it went to Netflix.
Okay.
So like people were watching it and they thought that their TVs were fucking up because there was just like white dots all over the screen.
Really? Is that just like CGI of the zombies?
I don't know what it is, whether it's something in the renderer just didn't render certain pixels. And people
Lord.
thought like they had a dead pixel on their screen. They were going nuts over it.
Oh no, Zach. Oh, Zach.
Oh, Zachy
Apparently,
boy.
it also has a thing of like a time travel element that he is not like denied.
Really?
Yeah. Not to spoil anything, but there's a moment where they come across like a bunch of skeletons that are in the safe, but they're the skeletons of them already on the heist. And so the idea is that they're stuck in a time loop of consistently robbing this bank and dying.
Well, that's ridiculous.
But
God,
cool.
I must watch it.
But pretty cool.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
That's what those Zack Snyder was like. It's cool though. So let's not fucking explain
The
it.
class lads.
It's fine. So we're moving on. Yeah, I'm all in for an Ocean's 13 or an Ocean's 14 or an Ocean's 9 if they want to do that. I don't even mind. Just bring in the best from both teams and let's see what happens.
See what happens. That's the pitch.
Okay, so I'm taking Clooney, Pitt, Damon, Cheadle. Then you get Bullock. You have that Sandy, Anne Hathaway, Kate Blanchett. Okay, so you're at the 7.
Ocean 7.
Ocean 7.
We just can't do 8, 11, 12 or 13.
So 7's alright. I think you nail that with 7 and you make money.
Lucky Sevens are trying to rob a slot machine in a casino.
Just one slot machine. And they're just like pacing back and forth like, how do we fucking win? I can't.
And they're doing all the like elaborate handoffs, but it's just more like cups of quarters that they're giving people.
It's just them trying to rob like smaller and smaller places until they get to like one guy's hat on the street. How the fuck we gonna steal this guy's hat? It's full of dollars.
Oh, they're robbing like a homeless man or a busker situation.
No, he's a busker. It's like we have to wait till he goes for lunch. He has a 4-second look where he looks away, and then at that point we're going to send Clooney in on a wire. He's going to fly in and take it. So we're moving on to our next piece of news, Shaun, and this involves Doctor Strange 2. And it's only a small little bit, but the Doctor Strange 2 writer has teased what the multiverse's impending impact will have on the MCU. So a lot of people are kind of like, Doctor Strange in the multiverse of madness, how big is it going to impact the rest of the MCU? Because is it going to be a self-contained story? We know it's Spider-Man involved, but in general, like, is it going to have that much of a lasting effect? And this question was kind of thrown to writer Michael Waldron. And what happened is, Michael said, it is going to have a big impact. And he very, very, I would say, very smartly then just said the line, I don't think you bring in Sam Raimi on to make a movie unless it's going to have a lasting impact and be a big movie. And so the way he's saying it is that it's going to have carry-on effects to later on in the MCU.
Right. And specifically, now look, let's get the tinfoil hats on right now.
Yeah.
Specifically calling out Sam Raimi, who, in the world of comic books, most well known for directing Spider-Man films.
Yes, that is true. And so
in the world of comic books.
In the world of comic books. So the case becomes then that he's directing Doctor Strange. Spider-Man is going to be involved in that film. Probably.
Yes. Far From Home, Alfred Molina got in a bunch of trouble with Kevin Feige this week.
What did he do?
An interview. He's on tour for he's doing either another movie or a play or something. And the interviewer was just like, oh, and talk to us about Spider-Man Far From Home. And Molina was just like, I'm not supposed to talk about it, but it's the worst kept secret in Hollywood. So it's really interesting to revisit the same character 20 years down the line. And I'm like, what? And so Kevin Feige then was on, I think he was on a red carpet thing for Black Widow. And one of the reporters just said, oh, and what can you tell us about Spider-Man Far From Home? And he just looked really sad and said, ask Alfred Molina.
It's just like, oh, Alfred.
Fucked up. It was going to be so good.
You were meant to be the chosen one, Alfred. But at the same time, he's right though. Like, we do all know that he's in it. So,
yeah.
And anyone who's reading that article already knows. Like, that's us.
Exactly, and like the worst thing that he could have possibly said was like, yeah, and it was great to work with Tobey Maguire again.
Oh yeah, if he had said, I was so worried he would say, it was great to revisit those characters. And at that point, he's dead in the water. Kevin Feige kills him and his family. There's no point. Like, Feige has people that he'll take you out suspiciously quietly.
Yes, exactly. So, and I don't, like, the reason Sam Raimi being singled out, I'm not sure the significance of it to Doctor Strange is the thing.
Well, he's directing Doctor Strange.
You know, he's directing Doctor Strange, but to Doctor Strange, the character.
Okay.
Like, I would have thought that, unless, like, the multiverse... Okay, I'm trying to think of it in my head, because I don't know which comes first, Far From Home or Multiverse of Madness in the chronology.
I actually don't know that myself.
I know Far From Home is coming out first. Or No Way Home. What's it called?
No Way Home.
Far From
No
Home.
Way Home.
It's the worst.
Far From Home is number
convention.
2.
It's
No Way Home.
And Homecoming's the first. It's ridiculous. It's the worst thing Marvel has ever done, is name those films in that way. I hate it so much. Continue.
So what also is interesting is that he brought up Loki. And how that has an effect, because Michael Waldron is not just writing the Multiverse of Madness, he's also writing Loki, and he has written Loki. And he said he had a really interesting thing about causing all this chaos basically in the multiverse regards to Loki. And we're not going to spoil anything in terms of Loki for someone who hasn't seen it, but his quote was, I think one of the joys of being a writer in the Marvel world is getting to make terrible messes and then leave them for your predecessors to kind of figure out. Although occasionally you find yourself, like me, being your own predecessor. For instance, I wrote Loki, and then you end up writing Doctor Strange 2, having to clean up your own mess, and that can be a lot of fun, but also very time consuming.
Okay. So, and that's a clever way of putting it, because he's not necessarily saying that one affects the other. It's just that things brought up in Loki might need to be addressed in Doctor Strange 2.
I mean, the TVA being the main one, surely.
Yeah, how do you reconcile that the audience knows that exists? Like,
yeah, and the power that is being fought for in the MCU is pointless, because I mean, I think it's in episode 1, is it, that the stones are in that drawer, or is it 2?
Yeah, and I think that's a fairly big meme at this point, so I think it's fine to talk about that one. That, like, the Infinity Stones don't work out of their universe, which means you could take a character who's it's interesting, because you could take a character who's very, very powerful in the main Marvel Cinematic Universe, and then you pop them into a different universe, and suddenly they're like on the back foot. Like, because in the main Marvel Universe, nothing really posed a threat to Iron Man in his last couple of movies. But in, like, if you popped him into a universe where, arc reactor technology didn't work for some reason, then suddenly he has to think. He has to react to that.
He has to arc react to that.
He has to arc react to that, which, as we've established, doesn't work in that universe.
Doesn't work. But it is an interesting idea that I had never even considered it, but Loki will have a knock-on effect. No matter how small or big, is that it's just the TVA's existence will have an effect to the multiverse, will have an effect to the Eternals, will have an effect to Spider-Man. Even like Scarlet Witch is appearing in the Multiverse of Madness, but the TVA are there. They could just... there can't be chaos in the timelines. It's a whole situation that I think what Avengers Endgame, what they're doing cleverly here, is that in a weird way they're branching out in all these different timelines, like we're not meant to do, and just being like, this is all the mad shit that would have happened if you do time travel. These are the consequences.
Yeah, like, and not only does, like, the things that came before have to be thought of, but the things that come after, like, you need to think down the line of, like, okay, if we introduce time travel, we need that not to be the solution to every problem, you know.
Yeah,
so you
have to get rid of
stakes. Exactly, yeah. So, but it still exists in the universe, and it's there for stories in the future when they're needed.
Yeah, so that is what's kind of coming out. So I like the idea that the Loki writer wrote himself into a corner and then has to write out of the corner for every other film he's now involved in.
It's much like a Loki situation, isn't it?
Oh, he's up to hijinks. He's a menace. So we're moving on to our next piece of news, and this involves... Now, there's been a leaked Flash movie promo, Shaun, and we don't normally talk about leaks. We wait until they're officially announced. Now, I'm not going to talk about the actual teaser that was released. I don't know where it was leaked. I think it was on Twitter. And it's just a small clip that has been removed from Twitter now. And it uses concept art to depict someone sitting next to Barry Allen in the Batmobile, which is being driven by the Michael Keaton incarnation of the Cape Crusader. So Keaton's driving the Batmobile and then Barry Allen is being driven around. But the individual's face is blocked out with a spoiler alert sign, so we don't know. However, Shaun, we now have seen bits in the shot that the person whose face is obscured can be seen holding a sword and a shield. I don't know if you know anyone in the DCEU that would hold a sword and shield.
I wonder. wonder.
So look, I think everyone kind of just figures out that I think Gal Gadot could be in this film, and she's down on the IMDb, and so we didn't really know how much of an impact she's going to have, but if she's in this film, you've got Keaton, we know Ben Affleck is coming back as the Dark Knight in that role, Supergirl is in this film. This is a lot of characters that they're covering, and we haven't even seen a teaser, but I'm so interested to see how they do this.
And we also don't know if this universe is still on the ground, like if it's still going after that. Like
nobody knows.
It's a weird situation because there's this massive thing happening in the Flash movie where they're literally combining past film universes and past Batman and all of this, and bringing in Wonder Woman, and like it's just not really talked about as much, I don't think. Like maybe because it's not a show coming out week on week.
So that was the first piece of reveal from the teaser, but there was another piece of reveal, and that was about Supergirl. And
I saw this.
It was a very small reveal, and it was just that she's being held in a containment facility in a lab, likely run by the government, and it has her meeting the Scarlet Speedster, basically, as a way. Now, this kind of set the internet alight, because what's interesting about the Flashpoint Paradox as a story is Superman's story. And what this teaser kind of showed to me is that they're adapting Superman's Flashpoint story, but without Superman, and replacing him with Supergirl.
Yes. Am I correct in thinking that's where Superman crashes, but he's found by the government instead of Montauk Kent?
So how Flashpoint works is that, because Barry Allen goes back and he saves his mother, it has like a massive knock-on effect to all these different timelines, if you don't know what Flashpoint is. And so in that scenario, so Flash's mother is saved, he's like, great. But all the knock-on effects to everybody else is like shit. And what happens is Superman's ship, when it crashes into Metropolis. So it doesn't crash into Smallville. It crashes into Metropolis. And what happens is that when it crashes, it goes through buildings and it kills a load of people. And it's like an alien spaceship has landed in the middle of Metropolis.
And killed and destroyed and all
and destroyed people. And so the government immediately come in and they take him away. And the idea is that they take him to an underground facility, and I would say, they try to use him, this might surprise you, for war purposes, Shaun. The government. And so they take him away in a thing called Project Superman. And they keep him underground so he never feels any sunlight.
Yeah, and so he never gets his big powers.
So he never gets powers. So he's just like really, really thin. And he's always like he's malnourished, basically, because he has no sun, and he feeds off.
I think they have him in like red sun radiation as well, like to properly dull his hours.
And they have him under like fake lights, like he's constantly underground, so it's always just fake lights in like a cage.
Yes.
And they're basically using him to drive the fact that we're going to use him in war, and we're going to try and figure out a way that we can take him and inject him into other people and then make super soldiers. It's a super soldier serum situation.
Love it. Big fan.
And so how it works is then they break him out, and I'm pretty positive this Superman dies. I think he would... I'm going off Flashpoint here. He breaks out and he tries to help. Like, Batman turns up and he's like, we need to escape. I know you're Superman. The world's about to end. And he breaks out, and this is the first time he feels sunlight, and he uses his laser vision and he immediately kills like 3 soldiers, and then he freaks the fuck out and flies away because he doesn't understand what's going on. He didn't know why he has that much power.
He's never had powers before, so
yeah,
it's a big shock.
So that's kind of the idea, and I'm pretty sure he dies until Flash obviously saves everyone. But what they could do instead is, because Henry Cavill is away, well, he's not away, but he's in and he's out and he's out and he's in, and they don't really want him, and they're kind of already recasting a different Superman anyway, so they don't really have any interest in that. They're, I think, going to do Project Supergirl instead of Project Superman, and have Supergirl instead crash in Metropolis. They take her away, they bring her to an underground lab, and then Flash comes across her.
Yeah, which kind of makes sense, because it is an alternate universe, so it's like, simultaneously, it is meant to be different from the DC universe. It's also a nod to the comics, but still a little bit different from that, so you're giving yourself liberty to not follow the comic exactly for whatever suits the situation.
It's also kind of, I mean, not to give too much credit, but it is interesting that, like, this Flash is always like, oh, Superman's my hero, like, I love Superman, and then his story here could be him saving Supergirl. And I mean, like, I think that might be giving them too much credit, looking too much into it, but I think that's a nice thematic thing that they've done.
Absolutely, but also, if Henry Cavill was still fully in, they would absolutely not go this route.
No, I don't think so, but it is, because I don't think you can introduce Henry Cavill and then... Also, you'd have to have him shrink down, like a Chris Evans style thing.
Look, they did it in fucking 2009.
I suppose, yeah. I mean, it could work, but I think it's more interesting with a different superhuman rather than Henry Cavill.
Yes, I think so. No, I'm excited. And there was like set photo leaks of Supergirl as well. The suit looks great.
Yeah, and so, Shaun, my question to you is, we're seeing all these leaked footages, or leaked clips and leaked images. Are you more and more excited about Flash? Because I know you don't like Ezra Miller as the Flash, but
no.
It's got Keaton, it's got Affleck, it's got Gal Gadot, it's got Supergirl. You've got all these people.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more excited for it. It's not my most hotly anticipated movie or anything like that, but I think definitely this is really interesting. It's comic booky, dumb fun, so I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah, and I think that it could, it could, like, will it make Flash cool? I'm trying to debate.
Well,
will Flash
steady
be cool?
on, Connor.
Will he be like everyone's new favourite? Maybe it could happen. We don't know. Maybe. Ezra Miller could be he could be like Robert Downey Jr. to the DCEU.
Yeah, the poster boy. Like the one that started it all.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, that all's after coming out. I'm very interested and intrigued. I'm very worried that this trailer will drop tomorrow. I hope not, but we shall see what happens. So, we're finishing off this week's Movie Monday, Shaun, with talk of Suicide Squad. Now, James Gunn, he revealed this week the possible villains that were almost in Suicide Squad, but he didn't exactly include them. And he revealed 12 villains that he thought of before he got to Starro the Conqueror.
Oh, okay. So Starro's the 13th choice.
Yeah, Star Wars is yeah. Now, sorry, this is the second last story, but Deathstroke was among DC characters that were almost in the Suicide Squad, reveals James Gunn. And so, someone asked him on Twitter, who did you feel like for the villain? Was there ever somebody else considered? and he put up a whole series of images of all these DC villains that were included Livewire, Man-Bat, KG Beast, Mr. Freeze, Killer Frost, Black Spider, Solomon Grundy, and then you also had Deathstroke. So it was like a who's who of DC villains that I think Deathstroke against the Suicide Squad would be mad.
It would be. It's like, but like, the thing with Deathstroke is, Deathstroke's really going to win, kind of, at the end. Like, you don't
Or get away.
I don't think the squad would ever defeat Deathstroke. Whereas I feel like, weirdly, it's a more even match against Starro the Conqueror.
Yeah, and what he said was that every character in the Suicide Squad was chosen for a purpose, great or small. And although many of these other characters, they didn't serve the story quite as well, I am of course open to using them in the future, and there are many more wonderful DC Comics characters where these came from. So he's basically stating that every character he chose was chosen for an exact reason. Now, that could be a PR bit, that he's just doing it because this is perfectly balanced, or James Gunn could be that kind of character, that he picks these characters because he knows he's going to kill them.
Yeah, and he's got the spreadsheet of like powers and abilities, and like, okay, that's a good matchup against this and this and this. I do think he just he picked some characters that he thought were cool. For some of them, like, I don't think they all are critical to the story. Like,
I'm pretty sure Nathan Fillion said he'd be in, and then he was like, fuck, okay, right, I'll give Nathan Fillion a character of some kind.
I'll pick something for Nathan.
Yeah, and I think why this works, I think why Starro works, and like, as much as we go off about that, it's a very comic book trope that you need an army. And Starro has a thing where he can produce millions of himself, whereas Mr. Freeze is just one dude, or Deathstroke is just one dude. And so you have a team of 7 versus Deathstroke, which Deathstroke could probably beat up the whole Suicide Squad by himself. That's no problem. But it is more interesting if James Gunn wanted to go the horror route, and that this team keeps getting decimated every time they try to face this guy, then I think Starro is the one that they all go in, get absolutely wiped out, only 2 of them survive, they get back and they're like, this is bad, we need another team to go back in and do it again.
Yeah, we need the B team of the Suicide Squad.
So, I mean, what do you think of a Man-Bat? I don't know if Man-Bat would work live action.
I don't think so. Like, and it would be creepy and all, but like, I think when you have a character like Weasel that's there, like, that serves the like creepy animal hybrid factor. Yeah, and that's too much then if you have Man-Bat as well. And also, as you said, it doesn't really have the army. Like, you can get bats, I guess, but you can't.
I mean, there's a man for that. You just need to have like a lad who can control that.
Yeah, so like, I think honestly, like, the big hive mind is the way to go. Weird enough, which ordinarily we'd complain about in a superhero movie. But if you're going to be killing, like, I think Starro is kind of different because he's not creating like blobs that they can slice through. He's creating aliens. So like, he's like joining their face and then taking over them, kind of thing. Now, that's how Starro normally works. I don't know how it's going to work in this. We haven't seen any clips. Maybe he just outright kills them all. Yeah, or maybe it's established that, like, once there's a starfish on your face, there's no coming back. Like,
you're no longer
they're just
alive.
mowing down innocence. Like,
okay, so we are finishing off this week, Shaun, with we've had some big news regarding Black Panther 2. Now, there were rumours. There was even some casting rumours, but I think we have finally confirmed that Wakanda, Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever, will have an Atlantis war and a Namor introduction in the plot, Shaun.
Love it.
We got this from the log line that has now come out about Black Panther 2, and I'm going to read you the log line, and I mean, after reading it, you will also be like, oh shit, I can't wait to see Wakanda versus Atlantis. Because both Wakanda and Atlantis are hidden civilizations with advanced technology and increased militaristic abilities that decided to separate themselves from the rest of the world for their own safety. Wakanda feared that their technology would be abused. Atlantis feared that surface dwellers would come and desecrate the mythical city, just as they did so many years ago. And yet their fears escalate even further when these two once-hidden nations clash with each other. Wakanda and Atlantis have a shockingly intertwined history. Wakanda is the only country in the world with access to vibranium. However, rumours of its power spread throughout the world, and Namor's human father was sent searching for the rare material in Antarctica, Shaun.
Everyone go listen to the Namor Hero Zero that we did.
Why is that big?
Because they went... That's the origin of Namor in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
That his father went searching for vibranium at the bequest of, I think, Winston Churchill?
Might have been Churchill, yes.
Yeah. Well, actually, sorry, Ernest Shackleton went and did it, and then their boat crashed, and then Namor's dad went and took a crew to it, and then he married an Atlantean woman. They had a baby named Namor, and Namor grew up a hideous, half-human, half... Atlantean person. Not hideous, but he was kind of an outsider because of his shared heritage. Also, he's a mutant. Namor is also a mutant. Let's just get that out there.
I don't know if they're going to go the mutant route, but go on.
Here's the thing, though, and this is something I thought after we did that Hero Zero, is that Namor is often called Marvel's first mutant because he was retroactively made to be a mutant, and so he was the first published mutant.
Because he's been around since like 1939.
Exactly, yeah. And so what they could do is that Namor could technically be the first mutant in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Mm.
Similar to how he is in the comics, but they haven't introduced mutants yet. They can just retroactively call him one.
I mean, yes, I suppose you could do that. I mean, also, this is also another inclusion of Atlantis, which is meant to also be in the Eternals. And so Atlantis goes underwater in the Eternals versus the Deviants fight, and as it's ravaged by a civil war, and then we bring him back through Black Panther 2. And it's also interesting because, of course, sadly, Chadwick Boseman no longer with us, and so they're now using Black Panther 2 as a way to maybe launch Namor. And I don't know if this was always the original plan, but it is now that they can launch another character origin story.
Yeah, Namor, like the kind of king without a country scenario, and then you have a country without a king, maybe.
Interesting. I don't know if Wakanda could be led by a man from the water, though.
No, I don't think either nation would be mad about it.
No. But yeah, I do think that's like a really interesting idea, that they can now kind of make Shuri Black Panther, if they want, and then have introduced Namor. And then you've got like a brand new society, and you've got a whole Namor movie just sitting there, ready to do.
Yeah, and we can call it The Trench.
Oh, that movie's now... it's free. It's no longer being done.
The Trench is up for grabs.
So, Shaun, I think that's it for this week's Movie Mondays. Unfortunately, no trailers this week, so it's just a very rumour-heavy week.
Rumours and speculation, but in many ways that's nice. That's what a lot of people would make an entire podcast out of. So it's nice to dip our toe in it every so often. Would you like me to take us out, Connor, as you take a big gulp of coffee there?
Yes, please. I'm glad you asked me that while I was drinking.
Timed it perfectly. So thank you everyone for listening to this episode of Movie Mondays. We will be back Wednesday with Weird News Wednesday, Friday with Hero or Zero, and next Monday with another episode of Movie Mondays. As we said before, go check out the Patreon if you're interested in a bit of low-key chat. Well, it's not low-key chat. Well, you see what I mean.
It's high-key, but it's about low-key.
Very good. So we chat about theories, we chat about where we think things might go, and there's a lot of God, wasn't that bit cool when. So head on over there, $5 or more a month, you get access to that. Big thank you to everyone who supports us over on Patreon. An 8 out of 10 human being. Seriously, you're welcome in New Zealand anytime. I'll show you around. Thank you very much, Waffles. I'm going to show up at your door dressed like Gandalf someday.
Okay.
Thank you also goes to Ciara Lawler, David Clarke, Ed Ball, Joe RateMyHemsworth.com, Click Rate, Click Luke, Refresh Repeat, Never Give Up, Hickok Didn't Bernie, Róisín, Schrödóisìn, Hally, Ryan, right time, Evanson, Shaun, heroes don't do that, Jamieson, Dominic, Jessiah, Florida gal, Green, Anna, Maureen has the fry on Hjelmroos, Lil Dicky I remember when I was the last name shouted out. Congratulations on the growth, boys. It shows. Wink, McGrew.
Love you, Richie. Love it.
Thanks, Richard. We are growers, not showers, as we often say.
I've never said that.
I mean, the dream is to be a grower and a shower, let's be honest.
Like Jack and his beanstalk.
And thank you also goes to Danny McLaughlin, Ray and Luke, too hot to handle, unless you're Mr. Freeze, in which case you're grand.
Yeah, true,
but you don't have an army. That's why you can't be in Suicide Squad, I'm afraid. But thank you to everyone who supports us over there. If you want to head over and support us, link in the description. Also, there's all the social medias. The most important thing you can ever do, best way you can ever help out the show, is by telling one human being that we exist.
Just the one, please.
And I think that's about it, Connor.
I think so. So I've been Ciara Lawler.
I've been Shaun Meehan.
I will see you next week, guys.
Bye.
Bye.